In this video, I'm going to explain the two most commonly used features within the OrbitNote toolbar, and they're the text-to-speech features up here on the top left. The first one I'm going to show you is just this playback button. It will attempt to read the document from top to bottom. And then the second one I'll highlight or show here is the click-to-speak option just to the left of it. So if I click on the play button, or read in this case button, it's going to attempt to read the document from top to bottom.
Would you rather be a detective or a pilot?
You'll notice that it keeps the currently read sentence or paragraph in yellow, and then the actively read word will move along in blue. And again, I have the option to pause that whenever I'd like. So I'll play or continue playback by hitting the pause button again.
2. Would you rather go skiing or go to a water park?
At any point then I can stop that playback and I'm back to my document with my toolbar just the way it was when I first started. The second option up here to the top left is the click to speak option. What this does essentially is it's going to read wherever I click on a text element. And it won't start reading until I do click on a text element. So if I go down here and find maybe number 4 here, I'll go and click there.
Would you rather dance or sing? 5. Would you rather play hide and...
So it will click to speak, and then it will continue reading throughout the next paragraph or question or sentence. There is a way in a second I'll show you in the settings to change that behavior. I have the same play and pause options here available to me, and I will just hit stop on this one. Now, one thing to note is that when I hit stop after I've been using click to speak, up in the top left, that tool is still in red. So, you know, if a student wanted to go through and read a couple of these and then skip way ahead, that's how they would do it.
Would you rather be able to create a new
The tool stays active until you turn it off. So that can be kind of confusing for some students if they've turned that on, they've hit stop up here, and then they're going somewhere else to select, you know, text or something, and when they try to do that, it will continue to read for them, which is what it thinks you want to have happen. Again, stop, and then just click on that click to speak icon to turn it entirely off. And then the last thing to kind of highlight here are a couple of settings that you'll want to be aware of and to show students. Depending on the age, they may want to experiment with this as well in terms of the speed and voice. So if I go on the left side here to speech, and then on the right side I get my voice name, anything with a US prefix or preceding the name here is going to be is going to sound, you know, North American. It'll be unaccented as much as possible for us. Anything else will have, you know, an accent attached to it, or they're meant for the translation speech engine. So I find Ava is my own personal preference, but students may want to experiment with the other voices in here. As a default, when this first starts, I believe it will come up at a speed of 50. For most students, 40 is a really good speed. If you are working with a student who has maybe some processing, you know, delays or challenges, then you'll probably want to tailor this voice speed to their particular needs. Also, younger students typically benefit from somewhere sort of 30 to 35 as a speed. The last thing to show is that one option that I mentioned, which was continuous speech. So with this selected, with this toggled off, I should say, if I use my click to speak tool now, it will read that current sentence and then should stop at the end of that reading. And you'll notice it reads the current sentence, or sometimes it'll be the whole paragraph or question, and then immediately stops. So depending on the student, you may decide that you want to leave that off. For most other students, they'll be fine, likely to, or may wish to have this reading continuously. Again, it depends on, you know, a number of factors for each child. So those are the two most commonly used features of the toolbar. It's an excellent text-to-speech engine. Again, a couple of things to note here. If you start with a digital document, something you've created yourself, you know, in Google Docs, you have the best chance for the text-to-speech engine to work with as few errors as possible. The more stylized text you get, the more background elements, the more borders or illustrations and things, the more difficulty you'll probably have, or a student will have, with the text-to-speech. So I do have a couple of other videos within this series that outline kind of how to deal with some of those other issues that come up, and common kind of issues, and then their workarounds. So anyway, hope that helps, and I hope you get your students in and using this tool.